A car sits in the hot sun. Inside, 9-year-old Sophie cannot move from her wheelchair. The air stops working. She tries to call for help, but no one hears her. Outside, Vivian walks away after putting a ticket on the car, not knowing she just put a child in danger. Before watching full video, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more videos. Mark Wilson rubbed his tired eyes as he pulled into the visitor parking spot at Oak Ridge Estates. His sister Amy had offered to watch Sophie for the weekend, giving him a much-needed break. Being a single father to a child with special needs meant he rarely got a full night's sleep. "Just 5 minutes, sweetheart," Mark said, turning to look at his daughter Sophie in the back seat. At 9 years old, Sophie's bright eyes and gentle smile could light up any room, despite the challenges her cerebral palsy presented. "Can I have my tablet, Daddy?" Sophie asked, her words coming slowly but clearly, the result of years of speech therapy. "Of course," Mark replied, reaching into his bag to pull out her tablet. He set it up on her special stand attached to her wheelchair. "I just need to run into the pharmacy to get your medication. The line should not be long today." Sophie nodded. Already becoming absorbed in her favorite educational cartoon, Mark made sure the air conditioning was running at a comfortable temperature. The August heat was brutal today, already hitting 90 before noon. "I will be right back," he promised, double-checking that Sophie was comfortable. Her wheelchair was securely locked in place, the tablet within easy reach, and a sippy cup of water in the holder beside her. The car was running with the AC blasting cool air throughout the vehicle. Mark locked the car, with his spare key keeping the engine running. He glanced at his watch. 11:15 a.m. The pharmacy was just across the parking lot from his sister's condo complex. He could even see his car from the pharmacy entrance as he walked away. Mark did not notice Vivian Beckworth, the Oak Ridge Home Owner Association president, watching from her porch with narrowed eyes. She clutched her clipboard, annoyed by the idling vehicle in the visitors section. In her mind, rules were rules, and she was about to teach someone a lesson about respecting Oak Ridge Estates regulations. Vivian Beckworth marched across the parking lot, her heels clicking on the pavement. The sight of an empty driver's seat with the engine running made her blood boil. "Another rule breaker," she muttered. The Homeowner Association guidelines clearly stated no unattended vehicles with engines running. As president, Vivian took pride in keeping Oak Ridge Estates perfect. Her neighbors called her strict, but she preferred dedicated. She approached the silver sedan, noticing its out-of-state plates. "Visitors are the worst offenders," she said to herself. Instead of looking through the windows, she focused on the violation form in her hand. Vivian reached into her pocket and pulled out her master key. The board did not know she had made a copy for Emergency Home Owner Association business. This counted as emergency business in her mind. She unlocked the door, reached in and turned off the ignition. The sudden silence as the air conditioning stopped gave her satisfaction. She removed the key, locked all doors, and slapped a bright orange violation notice on the windshield. "That should teach them," Vivian said. Dropping the car key into her pocket, she continued her patrol, pleased with herself. Inside the car, Sophie became aware of the sudden quiet. The cool air stopped flowing. Her tablet showed a woman walking away from their car. "Hello," Sophie called, but her voice was not strong enough to carry. Outside, she tried to reach her father's phone on the front seat, but her arms could not extend that far. The sun beat down on the car. Without air conditioning, heat quickly built up inside. Within just 5 minutes, the temperature climbed from 70 to 85. Sophie felt sweat forming on her forehead. Her breathing became faster. She tried calling out again, but nobody was nearby to hear her. Her wheelchair remained locked in place, making it impossible for her to move. The temperature kept rising. Sophie's pink shirt darkened with sweat. Her water cup was almost empty. Fear began to set in as the car became hotter and hotter. Amara Chin walked out of the Rodriguez family's apartment, finishing her routine home visit. As a child welfare specialist, she had been checking on a recently reunited family. Crossing the parking lot, Amara noticed movement in a parked car. She saw small hands pressing against a window. Looking closer, she spotted a young girl in a wheelchair, her face red and sweaty. "Oh my God." Amara rushed to the car. Inside, Sophie was clearly in distress. The windows were up, the car off, and the girl was trapped. Amara tried all the doors locked. She knocked on the window. "Are you okay? Can you unlock the door?" Sophie weakly shook her head, pointing to her legs to show she could not move. Amara immediately called 911 emergency. Child locked in hot car at Oak Ridge Estates visitor parking area. She is disabled and cannot get out. The car is not running. We need help right away. While on the phone, Amara looked for something to break the window. She spotted a rock in a nearby flower bed and grabbed it. "Help! Child in danger!" she shouted. 2 residents heard her calls and ran over. "Stand back," said one man, taking off his boot. He used its heel to strike the rear window away from Sophie. After 3 hard hits, the glass shattered. Just then, Mark ran across the parking lot, dropping his pharmacy bag. "Sophie," he screamed, seeing the broken window and people around. "His car, your daughter, was locked in with no air," Amara explained quickly. Mark pulled out his key and unlocked the doors. "I left it running with the AC on. I was gone less than 5 minutes." They carefully reached in through the broken window and unlocked the doors. Amara and Mark gently lifted Sophie out as sirens approached. The paramedics arrived and immediately placed cold packs on Sophie's neck and wrists. They gave her water and checked her vital signs. "She is experiencing heat exhaustion, but we got to her in time." One paramedic said she needs to go to the hospital for monitoring. Sophie held her father's hand weakly, but managed a small smile at Amara. Though exhausted and frightened, she was going to be okay as the paramedics checked. "Sophie?" A sharp voice cut through the crowd. "What happened to this car? Who broke the window?" Vivian Beckworth pushed through the small group. Her face twisted with anger. She pointed at the shattered glass. "This is vandalism. We do not tolerate property damage at Oak Ridge Estates." Officer Rodriguez, who had just arrived, stepped forward. "Mom, we are handling an emergency situation. A child was trapped in this hot car." "I do not care what the emergency was," Vivian snapped. "I am the homeowner association president and I shut off this car because it was left running. It is against our rules." Mark's face went pale. "You did what?" "I left my disabled daughter in here with the air conditioning on." "Well, did not see any child," Vivian claimed, crossing her arms. "I was simply enforcing our regulations against unattended, idling vehicles." Amara stepped forward. "I am Amara Chin, a child welfare specialist. I found this girl in serious distress after the car was turned off and locked." She took out her phone and began taking photos and notes. A second police officer approached. "Mom, did you use a key to turn off someone else's vehicle without permission?" "I have authority as homeowner association president," Vivian insisted. Officer Rodriguez spoke into his radio, then turned to Mark. "Sir, we need to understand the timeline. How long was your daughter alone?" "Less than 5 minutes. I ran to pick up her medication," Mark explained, showing his time-stopped pharmacy receipt. A neighbor called out. "The pharmacy has security cameras facing this parking lot. They will show exactly when he left." The police checked the pharmacy footage on a tablet. It clearly showed Mark entering the store just 4 minutes before. Amara found Sophie. Officer Rodriguez's body cam recorded everything as they interviewed witnesses. When they reviewed footage from earlier, it showed Vivian clearly looking into the car window before using her key. "You said you did not see the child," Officer Rodriguez said to Vivian, "but our camera shows you looking directly at her before shutting off the car." Vivian's face drained of color as she realized she was caught in a lie. "Vivian Beckworth, you are under arrest for child endangerment and reckless conduct," Officer Rodriguez said, taking out his handcuffs. Vivian's mouth fell open. "This is ridiculous. I am the homeowner association president, and that does not give you the right to endanger a child," the officer explained as he read Vivian her rights. Several neighbors had their phones out, recording everything. Mrs. Jenkins from apartment 4B shook her head. "I have lived in fear of that woman for years." Finally, someone standing up to her. By evening, videos of Vivian's arrest were all Over social media, local news picked up the story. Homeowner Association president arrested after locking disabled child in hot car. People shared the story thousands of times with comments like "Justice served" and "Homeowner Association gone too far." The next day, Oak Ridge residents gathered for an emergency meeting. The vice president, Tom Lewis, called for order. In light of yesterday's events, we need to vote on removing Vivian from her position, Tom announced. The vote was unanimous. Vivian was out 3 months later. In court, the judge looked sternly at Vivian. "Your actions showed a complete disregard for safety and common sense." Vivian stood with her head down as the judge continued. "This court orders you to pay $50,000 in damages to the Wilson family. You will also complete 200 hours of community service at the Children's Ability Center, working with disabled children. Additionally, you must attend the county's empathy training program." Vivian nodded silently, her once proud posture now defeated. 1 month after the incident, the Oak Ridge community organized a barbecue for Sophie and Mark. Nearly everyone from the complex attended. "We never knew how hard things were for you," said Mrs. Jenkins, hugging Mark. "Please let us help. My grandson has cerebral palsy, too." "I understand." Tom Lewis, the new Homeowner Association president, announced new rules. "We have updated our policies. Safety comes before all other regulations, and we have created a support network for families with special needs in our community." Amara Chin became a regular visitor in Sophie's life. What started as follow-up visits turned into a real friendship. "Miss Amara is coming today," Sophie would announce excitedly whenever Amara was due to visit. Amara helped Mark connect with resources he never knew existed: support groups, special programs, and financial assistance. The county government took notice of the incident. They launched a new awareness campaign called "Look Before You Act." Posters showing a car with the message "A quick look can save a life" appeared throughout the city. Schools began teaching children about vehicle safety and disability awareness. Sophie was even invited to speak at an elementary school where she bravely told her story. "I was scared that day," Sophie told the students, "but now I helped make sure this does not happen to other kids." Mark found his life transformed. Neighbors offered to babysit, brought meals, and checked in regularly. The burden he had carried alone for years was now shared by a caring community. "I used to think I had to do everything myself," Mark told Amara one evening as they watched Sophie playing with neighborhood kids. "Now, I have a whole village helping us." Even the physical therapy center, where Sophie went for treatment, started a program inspired by her experience. They called it Sophie Circle, designed to connect families of children with disabilities. 6 months after the incident, Mark and Sophie attended the opening of a new playground at Oak Ridge Estates, one with equipment accessible to children of all abilities. A small plaque read inspired by Sophie Wilson, "Every child deserves to play." As for Vivian, her community service changed her working with disabled children, opened her eyes to challenges she had never considered. One day, she approached Mark and Sophie at the grocery store. "I can never undo what I did," she said quietly, "but I am trying to be better." Sophie looked up at the woman who had once caused her so much fear and said simply, "Everyone makes mistakes." In that moment, healing began for everyone involved.